Prosecutors have filed charges against two women who investigators say gained access to a dead man's Cash App by cutting off his finger.
Investigators tell us Audrey Miller and Tiffany Taylor Gray viciously attacked the man inside his Northwest D.C. apartment back in April, then cut off the man's thumb, stole his phone, and cleaned up the crime scene. News 4's Paul Wagner walks us through this disturbing case.
In a 49-page affidavit filed in D.C. Superior Court, investigators laid out a gruesome and diabolical scheme. The woman on the left, listed as suspect number 1, police say, is 19-year-old Audrey Miller. The woman on the right, listed as suspect number 2, is 22-year-old Tiffany Taylor Gray. According to the court affidavit, Gray and the victim, Fazil Teklemariam, knew each other. The affidavit says one witness told police the 53-year-old was her sugar daddy. In these two photos, police say suspect number 1, Audrey Miller, and Teklemariam are seen together entering his apartment on April 1st. D.C. police believe Fazil Teklemariam had been dead inside his third-floor apartment here on Peabody Street Northwest for about 4 days before his body was discovered. According to a court affidavit filed in the case, he had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, he'd been stabbed, and his right thumb had been cut off. A witness told police that the thumb was used to gain access to a Cash App and to buy liquor and drugs. Included in the court affidavit, investigators attached numerous photos from surveillance cameras mounted outside 2 entrances to the building, as well as the foyer and the hallway leading to the victim's apartment. Police say 2 men, one they have identified but not charged, were seen with the 2 women coming and going from the building over several days. Investigators say the suspects used the victim's key fob to get into the building and were seen carrying items out of the apartment. There was also evidence suggesting cleaning agents had been used to conceal or eliminate evidence. Police say they got a couple of breaks in the case. Last year, Teklemariam filed a complaint with D.C. police claiming suspect number 2, Tiffany Taylor Gray, had taken his phone and used it to steal $1,800 from his Cash App. Break number 2 came when investigators learned Teklemariam's cell phone last pinged from a tower in College Park, not far from where Gray rented an apartment. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation says the claim Teklemariam was Gray's sugar daddy has so far not been verified. Investigators believe the victim's severed thumb was used to access his phone. To date, investigators have not found the victim's thumb or the electronics stolen from his home. Audrey Miller is locked up in the D.C. jail and is waiting a preliminary hearing. Gray is in custody in Prince George's County, where she was arrested last week. In the district, Paul Wagner, News 4.
News 4 has so far been unable to reach any of the victims' family members.
Authorities in Washington, D.C. charged Audrey Miller and Tiffany Taylor Gray with murder for allegedly killing a man they called their sugar daddy and cutting off his thumb to access his accounts. Fazil Teklemariam, 53, was found dead with multiple stab wounds in his apartment. Miller and Gray were identified through CCTV footage and witness statements, leading to their arrest. The affidavit mentions that cleaning agents were used to obscure evidence, though footprints were found at the scene. CCTV footage from Teklemariam's apartment building lobby shows Miller and Gray on the night of the murder, and later footage shows 3 suspects, including Gray, returning to steal Teklemariam's belongings. The footage shows individuals in hooded sweatshirts and masks entering and leaving with items. Teklemariam's cell phone, tablet, other electronic devices, and his thumb remain missing. Both women face first-degree armed felony murder charges.